In a barren land, a toddler wanders around, chewing on what appears to be a human finger, blood smeared all over his face. The child calls out to his mother while walking. The land is dry, with shrubs growing everywhere. A car drives on the road and stops in the middle. A man named Wyndham Stone emerges from the car and puts on his backpack. Stone walks through the land and climbs on top of a rocky cliff. It is revealed that he has arrived in this barren wasteland to take a picture of the solar eclipse. He takes a few shots and heads back to his car. On the way, he finds a young boy sitting under a tree. He asks if the boy is okay, and the boy says he lost his parents. He leads him toward where his parents are supposed to be. Stone, while apprehensive, follows. After walking for a long while, the man tries to tell the kid to come to his car with him, but the kid runs away. Before disappearing, the kid gives Stone a creepy smile. Yeah, he low-key knows he is messed up now. He decides to head back to his car but ends up getting lost as it gets dark. He tries his best to get even the slightest cell phone reception, but fails. Then he hears an eerie voice in the distance, and contrary to all survival instincts of a rational human being in the 21st century, tries to find a source, but to no avail. Since Stone doesn't have any warm clothes, he tries to keep himself warm in a cave. He hears a distinct singing voice in the distance and goes out to investigate. The voice is revealed to be coming from a nearby cabin at the bottom of a crater. He climbs down using 2 ladders and approaches the cabin. Banging on the door, he gets no response and looks through the window to find no one inside. Taking a chance, he opens the door and finds a woman named Alina, who offers to share her food with him. Stone tells her that he appreciates her help, but if she could give him directions, it would be more useful. Alina ignores this and tells him to put his stuff down. Next, she sets out 2 bowls of soup for them. He tells her about the kid he saw, but notices that she doesn't say anything on the subject. Stone asks for her name, but gets no response, so the 2 eat in silence. He offers her his portion, saying he is not that hungry, and asks for water instead. She tells him to rest, but he says he'll be leaving soon. Eventually, the man decides to sleep on her couch. At night, through the curtains, he sees Alina bathing herself. He a dog. The next morning, the man manages to leave the cabin without making noise and waking her. When he walks outside, he sees that the second ladder is gone. He tries to find it, but with no luck. He checks on the woman and sees her sleeping peacefully. Stone begins to photograph sights of the cabin, including portraits on a nearby wall of a woman beheaded, and just then, he hears a noise nearby. He notices that Alina is awake and is trying to fix the roof of the cabin. He asks Alina about the ladder, but she doesn't respond. He helps her with the roof, and she tells him that she doesn't know where the ladder is, as people use it sometimes. Realizing there might be more people to help him, he decides to climb out of the crater using the rocky surfaces. However, he finds it difficult as all of the surfaces are smooth. Stone calls out for help, but no one responds. Later, Alina offers to wash his clothes for him, but he refuses, saying he needs to get out of there. The woman asks about his wife, but he tells her he is not married. Eventually, he agrees to let her wash his clothes. At night, while he tries to sleep, he hears the generator stop working. Going out to explore, he hears a bunch of eerie noises around him, which suddenly stop. Realizing that he needs to get out of here as soon as possible, he takes a hammer from Alina's cabin the next morning. He manages to climb up the wall a good amount using the hammer. Just then, he hears a screeching noise, and children is voices. He continues climbing. Something falls from the top, leading Stone to become distracted and lose his balance. He falls on his back and becomes unconscious. When he wakes up at night, he finds that the hammer is lodged in his leg. In immense pain, he is unable to do anything until Alina approaches him. He asks her about the children's voices, but she tells him to lie still. In one swift movement, she removes the hammer while he screams in pain. The next few days, Stone goes in and out of consciousness. Alina realizes that she is menstruating, and she makes a mark on the wall. After a while, Stone gets up and leaves the cabin, even though his leg still hurts. He still can't find a way out. Frustrated, he asks Alina to help. He screams out into the land, hoping someone might respond. When no one does, he begins yelling at Alina, telling her this is her fault. He tells her that he has people who depend on him. He demands to know what's going on. Alina promises to take care of him, but he refuses to let her. She tells him to stay in the shade or the sun will burn him. Stone tells her to get away from him, and she obliges. He tries to take off his bandage, but it hurts to touch. A young teenage boy named Corvus calls out to him from the top of the crater, and Stone believes that he can finally be rescued. He asks the boy to help him, and Corvus says he'll send down a rope to pull him up. Corvus asks him his favorite color, and Stone tells him, "It is red." Stone, happy that he is finally leaving this place. Thanks, Corvus. While waiting, he sits in the shade and looks at the things inside his wallet, including his driver's license and his work card. He takes a deep breath, hoping that the boy will come to save him. Corvus throws down a rope as promised and asks Stone to tie himself tightly. Corvus comments that Stone should have said his favorite color was blue. Corvus and his friends begin slowly lifting Stone with the rope. At one point, Stone drops down a little and gets angry. He tells the boys to keep pulling, but no one responds. He learns that the boys left him there to hang in the hot sun. Dehydrated, Stone begins to lose consciousness, but wakes up when one of the boys begins peeing on him from the top. Furious, he demands the boys stop, but they use the rope to swing him back and forth. One boy, Arvo, comments that when the time comes, he'll be all his. The boys begin chanting in a foreign language. Stone begs Alina to help, and she manages to stop the boys, but the swinging of the rope causes him to hit his head on the rocky surface, and he loses consciousness. Stone wakes up on the couch with a splitting headache. He heads outside again, but due to the pain in his leg and head, he collapses, sobbing and begging God for help. Alina approaches him, and he asks who the boys are. Alina reveals that they're called strays, and the desert brings them together. Alina tries to tell Stone to come back inside, but he says she either helps him or leaves him. Before leaving, she tells him that he belongs here now, and that he should stay silent to survive. Stone turns himself over and notices a group of boys walking along the top of the crater. He tries to get up but groans and yells in pain. Meanwhile, the boys look at him emotionlessly from the top, and one even spits on him. Alina hears this from inside the house, but this time, she doesn't help Stone. Next, Stone resigns to his fate and begins living peacefully with Alina. Stone plants a few seeds in the ground. She gives him some men's clothes after noticing that his are ruined. The boys send down supplies for them, which they accept, including food, alcohol, and even live chickens. Alina butchers one chicken for lunch while she keeps the other for eggs. Stone begins drinking the alcohol. During dinner, Stone is drunk and tries to get Alina to open up. She refuses to talk to him, so he reaches over for more alcohol. Alina stops him, telling him he has had enough. He hears a child screaming and other children laughing, and Alina tries to stop him from going outside. He refuses to listen. The boys run around him like maniacs. Stone is attacked by Arvo, who claims Stone as his, overpowers him, and strangely enough, licks him. Bursting into the house, he demands answers from Alina, who says that he is scaring her. Reminding her that she lives under the rule of violent children, he says he shouldn't be the one scaring her. Alina tells him that he is drunk and he should just sleep it off, but he says that he is a man and she doesn't tell him what to do. Alina then decides that this is a good time to strip, and he watches her figure as she sits on the bed. She turns around to look at him. Passion and the craving for a woman arise in Stone as he embraces a nude Alina, and the two share an intimate night. In the distance, there are sounds of ominous chanting, which Alina notices. The next morning, Stone heads outside and checks on his plants. A young boy notices him, and they speak about microcosms, a small world existing in a big one. The boy says he likes to study, so maybe Stone can teach him. Before leaving, he throws Stone a gum pack, which Stone enjoys. While digging, he finds a ring buried in the sand. He also finds a pair of keys. He realizes that other people must have lived here like he is now forced to. Next, Stone notices a photograph of an old woman on the wall, and Alina tells him that it is the first mother. He asks if she has any stories of her, but she says that she knows that the first mother will love her forever, just like she will love the child growing inside of her. Realizing that she's pregnant, Stone is shocked and turns furious, realizing that Alina tricked him. A few days later at night, Alina leaves the cabin. Stone hears her humming, and Alina stands in the moonlight outside. The next morning, the little boy approaches and introduces himself as Lepus. He asks if Stone would still teach him, and Stone agrees. He tells Lepus that Alina needs help as she is pregnant. Stone asks Lepus to bring him some supplies like rope and something to dig with, promising that he'll use those to teach him physics. He also promises to take Lepus and Alina with him. Arvo arrives, having heard Lepus trying to help Stone, and takes Lepus with him. During dinner, Alina and Stone, who have gotten close, have a conversation where he tells her what a cheeseburger is. He asks how she is so content with this life, and she admits that she was born into it. Her mother had told her that outside the desert, everything was a mirage, and everything that they lived in was real. He shows her the eclipse pictures in his camera and accidentally plays a video of the radio playing in his car. Alina seems to enjoy the music, and they play it a few times while giggling. Later that night, the boys chant something in another language while Lepus screams in pain. The next morning, Alina heads outside and screams. Stone follows her, only to find Lepus strung above the canyon. Alina screams in grief, begging the remaining boys on top of the crater to stop, saying this is not what brothers do. She lashes out at Stone, screaming that he led her son to death. Lepus' whole back has been torn up, and Stone falls to the ground in shock, knowing that the small child is dead. In her rage, Alina hits Stone in the head with a stick, making him lose consciousness. A few months pass, and Stone is locked in a cage by Alina. One day, he notices a woman on the edge of the canyon. He manages to catch her attention and quietly asks her to get some help. Stone patiently waits for the woman while a very pregnant Alina works around the cabin. Unfortunately, the woman at the top is killed by Corvus, while Stone screams "no" repeatedly. At night, Stone notices all the children in the crater. Alina, with leaves on her eyes, claims to love all of the boys, who she calls her sons and brothers. A ritual is performed, with Alina covered with a white sheet and a necklace of organs around her neck. The boys dance around a fire in celebration of her pregnancy, while Stone watches from his cage. Next, while Alina gives supplies to Stone, he says that he is ready to raise this child with her and is willing to make more. She says that his purpose has been fulfilled, as he only had to give his seed. He never had a choice. He asks why he is still being kept around, and she says until the child is born, he will be kept alive. She also tells him that nothing is wasted in the desert. He begs her to free him or kill him, but she ignores him. A few days later, Alina goes into labor and frees Stone to help her. He helps her but notices the second ladder reattached. He abandons Alina and rushes to the ladder. Meanwhile, Alina gives birth, and another solar eclipse darkens the sky. Before he can escape, Stone hears the baby crying, and overcome with emotion, he lets go of his escape plan to hold the new baby, which is a girl. Alina promises to teach and love her because one day, the baby will be the new mother. She says that she will have served her purpose, just as Stone has served his. Just then, Avo sneaks up on Stone and slits his throat. Stone, knowing that all of his efforts were in vain, accepts death. Next, Alina hides Stone's clothes in a small compartment and comforts her new baby. Outside, Stone's rotten body lies on the ground. Burnt from the sun, infested with insects, and being used as worm food, his body decomposes. As Alina once said, "Nothing is wasted in the desert." The end. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like our channel and subscribe if you enjoy content like this. Also, let us know what movie you would love us to recap for you.